Morning everyone, I am Vanessa Calacada from 10 Masayahin. The topic that I decided to discuss to everyone is the distance formula. So let's get started. Our formula is t is equals to square root of x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. As we can see at this graph, point B is at the midpoint, which is 0, 0, and our point N is at positive 9 and negative 7. So 0, 0 because our point V is at the midpoint, and 9, negative 7 because our point N is at 9 and negative 7. So now we will label it x sub 1, y sub 1, and x sub 2, and y sub 2. Our x sub 1 is equals to 0. Our y sub 1 is equals also to 0. Our x sub 2 is equals to 9. And our y sub 2 is equals to negative 7. So now it will be d is equals to square root of 9 minus 0 squared plus negative 7 minus 0 squared. So d is equals to square root of 9 minus 0 squared is equals to 9 squared plus negative 7 minus 0 squared is equals to negative 7 squared. Next, d is equals to square root of 9 squared is equals to 81 plus negative 7 squared is equals to 49. So, d is equals to square root of 81 plus 49 is equals to 130. So our final answer is d is equals to square root of 130 because square root of 130 is not a perfect square, and also it don't have a factor, so it means our final answer is d is equals to square root of 130. So let's proceed to example number 2. So yun pa din yung formula natin. So in this graph, point R is at negative 3 and positive 5, while the point C is at positive 8 and positive 5. So label it x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, and y sub 2. So our x sub 1 is equals to negative 3, y sub 1 is equals to 5, x sub 2 is equals to 8, and y sub 2 is equals to 5. So magiging d is equals to square root of 8 minus negative 3 squared plus 5 minus 5 squared. Next, d is equals to square root of 8 minus negative 3 is equal to 11 squared plus 5 minus 5 squared is equals to 0 squared. Next, d is equals to square root of 11 squared is equals to 121 plus 0 squared is equals to 0. Next, d is equals to square root of 121 plus 0 is equals to 121. So now, d is equals to square root of 121 is not our final answer because 121 has a square root which is 11. So now, our final answer is d is equals to 11. So now let's proceed to my last example, example number 3. So let's look to the graph again. As we can see at this graph, point A is at 7, negative 8, and our point S is at 9 and 3. Next, label it x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, and y sub 2. So x sub 1 is equals to 7, y sub 1 is equals to negative 8, x sub 2 is equals to 9, and y sub 2 is equals to 3. So it will be d is equals to square root of 9 minus 7 squared plus 3 minus negative 8 squared. Next, it will be d is equals to square root of 9 minus 7 squared is equals to 2 squared plus 3 minus negative 8 squared is equals to 11 squared. So next, d is equals to square root of 2 squared is equals to 4 plus 11 squared is equals to 121. So next, d is equals to square root of 4 plus 121 is equals to 125. So, yung square root ng 125 is hindi pa yung final answer natin. Yes, wala siyang square root pero meron siyang factor which is 25 times 5. So, hindi pa yun yung final answer natin. Kasi yung 25 is meron pa siyang square root which is 5. So, magiging 5 square root of 5. So, our final answer is t is equals to 5 square root of 5. So, that's all. Thank you and have a nice day.